Welcome to Wildcast. I'm Toby Schmidt.
And I'm Chelsea Moe. This is our last show of the semester, so thanks for tuning in. Relay for Life took place on the Mall in March to raise awareness and funds in the fight against cancer. Wildcast reporter Sheridan Fiddleman attended the 12-hour event and reported on its success.
The University of Arizona hosted another successful Relay for Life over the weekend. Relay for Life serves as a powerful way for people to raise awareness and funds in the fight against cancer. From helping people facing the disease in your community to ensuring cancer is a thing of the past for future generations.
The reason I'm at the Relay for Life is that my friend from when I was in grade school, his mom had cancer. So we had a team together in our grade school and we did the Relay for Life then. So after she passed away, we continued doing that throughout high school, and now that I'm in college, we're continuing it here.
In 1985, Dr. Gordon wanted to make a difference in the fight against cancer and ran 83 miles in 24 hours. Today, millions of people from across the globe follow in his footsteps each year by participating in the American Cancer Society Relay for Life. The event took place for 12 hours. The hope of the event is to have at least one person from each team always walking the track. The motto of Relay for Life is, "Cancer never sleeps, so neither will we." Relay for Life 2015 has already surpassed last year's total fundraising. With 64 teams, 398 participants, they've already raised over $17,000 for cancer research. Relay for Life participants and donors remember loved ones that lost their fight to cancer and honor those that are still battling the disease.
We have a committee of 30 students who have different positions such as team recruitment on campus or working with survivors, and host different events throughout the year to fundraise for the event and then get participants to show up. I think it's really important to do something about that, and especially at Relay where it's such a great event and we can actually meet the survivors in our community that we're supporting.
By the end of the event, they raised a total of $19,200, and the top team in fundraising was the Queen Mary team with $1,400. The Queen Mary team relays every year for their father and grandmother who are now cancer survivors. For more than 65 years, the American Cancer Society has been finding answers that save lives. For more information on how you can help take a stand against cancer, go to relayforlife.org. Reporting at the University of Arizona for Wildcast, I'm Sheridan Fiddleman.
On Saturday, Tucson Mayor Jonathan Rothschild announced that this May will be the first ever Tucson Fitness Month. Groups like the Tucson Parks and Recreation Department and the YMCA of Southern Arizona will be offering free classes every day from now until May 30th. Even the U of A will be participating, offering free fitness classes as part of UA Final Survival Week. The mayor's office hopes the events will encourage people to get more active and realize the positive changes fitness can have on their lives.
At the last ASUA meeting of the school year, the Senate unanimously approved a DREAM Act resolution that would give youth accepted into the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program better access to higher education. The resolution currently gives these students in-state tuition rates. However, there may be a formal amendment to increase those rates and give DACA students a rate of 150% of residential tuition. The Arizona Board of Regents will have the final say on passing the resolution.
This year's ASUA elections made headlines when candidate Manny Felix was disqualified. Shortly after the decision was overturned, and he has since been named the official president for the 2015-2016 year. But back in March, I followed the allegations against him to see how the Elections Commission was handling the situation. This year's presidential elections were between two candidates, Manny Felix and Hannah Sager. Although the race was supposed to be finished on Thursday, March 12th, candidates are still awaiting the Senate's approval for official results.
So anybody on campus can file a complaint. They'll go to the ASUA office and put the complaint onto an official complaint form.
A complaint is counted as a strike, and once the candidate receives 3 strikes, the election commissioner decides whether or not to disqualify that candidate.
We received 4 complaints from different students. They all kind of had the same allegations against candidate Manny Felix. We verified those, or I had to verify those. I called them, I asked them whether or not they could attest to everything they wrote about in the complaint, as there was no other evidence other than their testimony. And I decided that, I had to give them the right to that testimony. I can't tell them that they're wrong, and, in a fair and just, world of law, I'm sure that that's the most appropriate course of action. So I was able to verify 3 of them, which resulted in 3 strikes and a disqualification.
So once the candidate was disqualified, he appealed his disqualification, and it came back to us as an elections commission. And we review this appeal by looking through our elections code and reviewing the complaints that were filed and reviewing our commissioner's decision. And for that, what we do is we read every line of the code and we decide whether the complaints that were filed follow the code. And what we found as a commission was that section 5-4 of the code stated that we did not have to, we were able to overturn this decision. So with that decision, we overturned candidate Felix's disqualification.
Hannah Seger then appealed their decision, sending the case to the Supreme Court yesterday. The courts affirmed the decision to invalidate the disqualification. If the Senate approves that within the next week, Manny Felix will be named the new ASUA president. Reporting from the University of Arizona for Wildcast, I'm Toby Schmidt.
The U.S. Supreme Court is set to decide on marriage equality in all 50 states at the end of the court's term in June. However, Arizona began recognizing gay marriage just last year. The Wildcast reporter Amanda Martinez spoke to students and faculty to get their opinion on the issue.
Arizona has legally recognized marriage equality since October of 2014. And as of January 1st, the Arizona Department of Administration has stopped providing same-sex domestic partnership benefits, citing people's option to get married. The University of Arizona has taken over this role and now provides benefits directly to couples and their families.
Those that did not want to get married were each contacted and each had individual advising appointments to make sure that they were comfortable with the choices they had to make, and they were moved over to our alternative plan. And let me say that the alternative plan is equal to what we have under ADOA.
While Arizona recognizes marriage equality and many behind-the-scenes changes have taken place to things like health and life insurance benefits here at U of A, many people are still looking forward to what will happen in the rest of the nation. Later this year, the United States Supreme Court will hear arguments for and against marriage equality and decide if it should be legalized across the country. Students and faculty at the University of Arizona are very curious to see what the outcome will be.
People in the center and in the city and in the nation are eagerly anticipating the Supreme Court case and whatever decision will come out, likely in June. That's a really big deal. We currently have marriage equality available to like 70% of people who live in the United States. And so the scales are tipping in the favor of marriage equality. It's a really exciting time in history. And at the same time, we have 30% of our citizens in the nation not able to access the right of marriage equality.
There is speculation that the court's decision last week to deny a request to delay gay marriage in Alabama is a signal as to what the final outcome of the case will be.
People, it's good that it's going to the court because both arguments will be heard for and against it, and I think that hopefully that will put the legal arguments against it to bed, and that we'll be able to get a decision from the Supreme Court that will finally make equality the law of the land.
Reporting from the University of Arizona for Wildcast, I'm Amanda Martinez.
Well, there's definitely a big decision to be made, and one that's going to affect a lot of people.
Yeah, and there's only 13 states who don't allow it now, so we'll have to wait and see. Temperatures have skyrocketed in the past couple weeks to the mid and high 90s, but even Tucson has seen some spring showers. We'll turn it over now to weather reporter Virginia Beamer to see if we can expect more rain in this week's forecast.
Well, it started off a beautiful day here in Tucson with sunny skies and breezy conditions. And as the day has progressed, we've gotten to the scattered showers across town and windier conditions. If you stay tuned, I'll have your full forecast after this.
What are you guys doing?
Working.
Continue.
Welcome back. I'm weather reporter Virginia Beamer with a look at your Wildcast weather forecast for this week. Now, as we were talking about before break, it's just been a very eclectic day here in Tucson. According to weather, it's been windy, it's been breezy, it's been very slow going, it's been hot, it's been sunny, and it's also been rainy. It's just been all over the place today, which actually brings me to my next point. 83 degrees was our high today, so very average or below average for this time of year, which makes a lot of sense. Usually we're at 88 right around this time of year, and nowhere near our record of 103 set back in, I believe, is 1947. 63 degrees was the low this morning outside, and nowhere near our average again, 57 degrees. So we're above average for our nighttime temperatures. That's because of the cloud coverage, and then we're below average during the day because of that same cloud coverage. If we take a look at what to expect tonight, conditions are going to be right on average for this time of year, 58 degrees, mostly clear outside, but still a little bit of clouds hanging around from today and this past weekend. And as we move into this week, we'll still see a few clouds in the atmosphere. Tomorrow, 82 degrees outside, sunny and warm, so beautiful conditions. Still warm, even though it is below average for this time of year. I think anything above 80 should be considered warm here in Tucson. Anything above 90 is definitely just hot. As we move later into the week, though, things are going to cool down for our benefit. By Friday, we're going to be at 78 degrees, and Saturday, 79 degrees. So a great way to end off the work week, and happy 4th of May. May the 4th be with you, everybody. Back to you guys.
Spring Fling is a long-standing tradition that brings food and fun to students and local Tucsonians alike. This year, Wildcast reporter Michael Hernandez went to the fair and spoke with people about the different attractions at this year's Fling.
Roasted corn! 50 shades of corn!
For over 40 years, Spring Fling has been not only a marquee attraction, but also a distinct University of Arizona experience that has only enhanced since its move back to the U of A campus last year. Hosted by ASUA student government, this completely student-run carnival relies on 9 student directors who work year-round to ensure everything runs smoothly.
I think Spring Fling is a really good tradition that the University of Arizona holds, and I have come since I was a freshman, and I just fell in love, and I think Spring Fling is a very big aspect of our student government and the campus, and I just fell in love, so I wanted to work and volunteer.
Spring Fling attracts over 25,000 guests annually. With over 40 rides and games to enjoy, and more food than you can stomach, this 3-day carnival guarantees its visitors will leave the grounds fairly satisfied.
Aside from being the largest student-run carnival in the country, what makes Spring Fling so important is the benefit they provide to clubs on campus. This year, 37 clubs participated in the event, with the money they raised going directly towards funding various organizations and activities.
All of the money that we make from Spring Fling goes to our club. And what Chang'an does with the money is we put on an annual dance to benefit UNICEF. And so the money we make here goes to pay for that, which is really cool.
Last year, Spring Fling raised over $72,000 for participating clubs. Over 80 clubs apply each year to run a food or game booth, with fewer than 40 being chosen, resulting in steep competition for this critical fundraising event.
Spring Fling is a big thing for our club because right now we aren't recognized as a club sport. We're in the process of that. So the proceeds that we get here really help benefit our riders, and we actually had a couple riders go to nationals this year, so the money goes towards big events like that.
Additionally, Spring Fling hosts a multitude of live performances throughout the weekend. This year's headliner was the indie pop band Small Pools, who entertained a packed audience on Saturday night. Remember, all of this is only made possible with the help of student volunteers, so be sure to get involved in making next spring a fling to remember. Reporting from the U of A Mall for Wildcast, I'm Michael Hernandez.
Members of the University of Arizona Rodeo Club attended this year's 90th annual Tucson Rodeo to learn from the very best. Wildcast reporter Danielle Fork spoke with the team and covered their preparations for the competition.
Bull riding, fair food, and a packed grandstand can only mean one thing. It's rodeo time. One of Tucson's biggest events, the 90th Tucson Rodeo, took place this weekend. The University of Arizona has a rodeo club that has been around for years. Although they do not participate in this rodeo, they are here to lend a helping hand when they can and prepare themselves for their rodeo that they have coming up in March. The University of Arizona Rodeo Club has been around since 1939, making it the oldest intercollegiate rodeo club. The team currently consists of 5 men and 5 women. The rodeo club president, Senior Dominic Brown, says their team competes all over the state.
We've been a club for about 76 years now, a team for 76 years, and we travel from school to school and compete in a Grand Canyon Regional Rodeo Association. So through NIRA, which is National Intercollegiate Rodeo Association, we go from school to school, from northern way north to all the way to down south to Cochise College. So we compete with schools all within that region.
During the Tucson Rodeo, a pre-rodeo takes place where young kids are given the chance to show off what they're made of. The rodeo club, especially Coach John Marcello, help out with this event. Coach Marcello, a professor at the University of Arizona, is a huge asset to the college and to the rodeo.
July 1 of this year, I will spend 50 years here at the university. I teach a number of courses. I do a lot of courses with regard to food safety, and I've been advising and coaching the rodeo team since 1967. We don't have as many members this year as we usually do, but we have about $20,000 in scholarship money that we give out to competitors. And in 2009, we built an arena over at the West Campus and have 18 horse pens where the contestants can keep their horses free of charge and so on. So they do a lot of practicing.
The University of Arizona Rodeo Club has a rodeo of its own coming up next month.
We have our 76th annual rodeo in March here, right here in Tucson Rodeo Grounds. It's free, so bring your friends and family and everybody else.
More information about the rodeo club can be found on their Facebook page and the U of A website. Reporting from Tucson Rodeo Grounds, I'm Danielle Fork.
A University of Arizona graduate won big during the most exciting 2 minutes in sports this Saturday. Bob Baffert, a Nogales native, trained the horses that took first and third place at this year's Kentucky Derby, American Pharoah and Dortmund. This was Baffert's 4th Derby win of his career. Saturday's event had the largest turnout event ever, with over 170,000 people in attendance.
CrossFit has swept the nation and started an intense following of people who go to the extremes for health and fitness. Wildcast reporter Tara Alfano took a look at some people who are loving this new lifestyle.
Created in 2000 by a former gymnast, it's a combination of gymnastics, Olympic weightlifting, and aerobic conditioning. It's one of the most extreme workouts today, a military-style workout that pushes bodies to the max.
Consists of several things. You could be running one day, you could be rowing one day, you could be doing deadlifts one day, handstand push-ups, handstand walks. We work on rings a lot. We work on the bars a lot. We do pull-ups. We do a lot of core work. We do a lot of barbell movements. Olympic lifting. So it varies every day.
Mentally prepares you for a lot of things. It teaches you to, be tough, dig down, and focus on what's ahead.
The harder you work out, the better you feel when you finish. It's like your endorphins start pumping, and when you finish and you can't breathe, you're laying on the ground sweating. When you finally get up and you drink your protein or whatever you do, you feel really good.
CrossFit is designed for universal scalability, making it a great application for any committed individual, regardless of experience.
I do it for competitive reasons. I started out doing it just because my brother kind of introduced me to it. And that was fun. And I was good at a couple things.
I think that there are injuries with any type of physical activity. CrossFit, because you do so many different things, you don't have as many repetitive use injuries. But the thing that makes it safest is you have to have good coaches that tell you what you can do and what you can't do and give you the right modifications to go through everything.
You have to have the right kind of coaching and the right people around you and the right workout strategy and plan, because there are a lot of people that do stupid stuff, and so it gets a bad rap sometimes, but as long as you're careful with it and you know what you're doing, I think it's a really smart thing to do to keep your body as fit as you're going to get.
You feel tired, you feel exhausted, but you also have a sense of accomplishment of you just did that, you went as hard as you can for however long you had to, and you feel good after it's done.
Studies say most people are able to handle CrossFit, but most importantly, check with your doctor first before beginning any new workout. Reporting from CrossFit Now, I'm Tara Alfano.
3, 2.
Stay with us after the break to see how the UA gymnastics team improved their performance during the season.
I'm Derek Williams, the former U of A Wildcat. You're watching UA TV. Don't change the channel.
When I turn on the TV, I turn it to Channel 3, cause they got all the greatest shows that I've been waiting to see. It's entertaining to me, cause it's pertaining to me and all the other Wildcats in the student body. We're broadcasting live to all the residence halls, so all y'all's in the halls, turn your TVs on to Channel 3 for Sheezy, so you can see me and all the other happy people down at UATV 3.
With program changes and a close-knit team dynamic, the gymnastics team had a strong season. Wildcast reporter Jordan Owen spoke with the team and head coach during the season to see how their new training made them better prepared for competition.
The University of Arizona gymnastics team has had a great season this year, thanks in part to their close team dynamic and some key changes.
The team is really tight-knit, and I think that they've sort of adopted this attitude of just staying within themselves, staying as a tight-knit group, regardless of the situations we're under. And I think that we just go into every competition doing one routine at a time, and that's allowed us to overcome whenever there's a difficulty. No one gets down about it. They just immediately move on, and it certainly has worked well, as you can tell, this year.
Another key to the GymCat's success is the implementation of a more structured practice.
The last 3 years that I've been here, our practices have kind of been like open. Like we would go to whatever event we would choose to, and we would still have structured assignments. But this year, he implemented like a strict like 2:15 to 6:30, like 4-event practice. He chooses which groups you go in, and then we train for 45 minutes on each event, and then we have a conditioning circuit at the end. For the rest of the season, we're pretty much just focusing on the details and making sure that we stay in the zone at meets and just taking care of all the little things.
If you want to see the GymCats in action, you can check them out during their last home meet, March 14th at 4 p.m. in the McHale Center. Reporting at the Mary Roby Gymnastics Training Center for Wildcast, I am Jordan Owen.
Floyd Mayweather Jr. won one of the most anticipated boxing fights this weekend against Manny Pacquiao in Las Vegas. The win keeps Mayweather's streak of 48 fights unbeaten, though the fight was far from exciting, with no knockdowns and neither fighter getting seriously injured. Saturday's fight was more than 5 years in the making and is the richest in boxing history, with the 2 welterweight boxers splitting at least $300 million. The show was a sellout crowd at the MGM Grand and cost viewers at home around $100 to view. Mayweather won the fight by a unanimous decision from the 3 judges.
The UA is home to the first collegiate roller derby club in the nation, but the team is still trying to make a name for themselves. Wildcast reporter Chris Delgado went to the team's Valentine's Day fundraiser, where the Hearts took on the Cupids.
As many of us don't know, the U of A has our very own roller derby team. I spoke to Hellfire Heidi, the team's captain, to learn more on the sport of derby.
We have basically 1 offensive player and then 4 defensive players on the track at one time. So they're trying to help their offensive player get through and keep the other team's offensive player back. That's the easiest way to describe it. But you're just sort of running around racing, trying to pass the other team. So every person can pass on the other team to get a chance.
Now that we know a little bit more about derby, I wanted to get an in-depth look on the team. So I sat down with head coach Ashley Gagne.
I offered my services to the Cats after their first season, and they really came together as a team after that, started forming games, became a very dominant kind of entity in the community. A lot of fundraising. It's a very, very fun sport, and to see the college kids come together and work on something that they love that's productive, it's very nice.
This Derby Cat event faced the Hearts versus the Cupids. They charged a donation fee at the door, with the funds going to Youth on Their Own, a nonprofit organization that provides needs and assistance for graduating youth. I also sat down with Cass Kicker to get her take on the Derby Cats and what they do.
I'm a pretty mellow person outside of sports, and so this is just like a great way to be really aggressive and just hit people. So it's been a lot of fun. I started with the Cats before we even had uniforms, before we had the season, and so it's just been fun to watch the team really evolve into something really big and fun.
While being awesome athletes in the rink, as well as great individuals within the community, the Derby Cats is a great club to join if interested. You do not need any prior experience.
Practices are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday nights from 9 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. at Catalina High School, outdoor track. And we have loaner gear for anyone to use. All we ask is that you're a U of A student, female or male, and we will teach you the rest. No experience necessary. We'll show you the ropes, and it's a fun and amazing sport.
The Derby Cats had their fundraiser tonight with a mashup of others from around Tucson along with their team. The red team won 219 to 171. At Catalina Magnet High School for UATV Channel 3 Sports, I'm Chris Delgado.
After a hot start to the 2015 season, the UA's men's lacrosse team had high hopes for playoffs. Wildcast reporter Ryan Lopez visited the Lax Cats practice and spoke with the team before their final 3 conference matchups.
The 2015 University of Arizona's men's lacrosse team, under second-year head coach Derek Pedrick, has enjoyed much success thus far in the season. Although 2/3 already into the season, the Lax Cats have managed a 7-2 record, with notable victories coming against the University of Texas, University of Minnesota, and Chapman University.
The season's going great this year. We started off number 13, and even that was a great accomplishment for us coming in here unranked my freshman year. And then now we're number 5 in the nation, hoping to win a national championship, which I see happening in the very near future.
Coming off a tight loss to BYU, the Lax Cats look to recover and bounce back against the rest of their league opponents to finish out the rest of the season.
We're 7-2 right now. We've played 5 or 6 top 20 teams, a couple top 5 teams, and we're doing well. We're ranked, I believe, number 5 in the country right now, with the 3 most important games coming up. We got San Diego State, which is a league game this Saturday. They're number 13th in the country. Not looking past that by any means, but after that week we have Grand Canyon, who's number 1 in the country, and then after that is our big rival Arizona State, who's number 3 in the country. So to say the most important part of our schedule is coming up is crucial.
The Lax Cats will finish their season off with 3 straight road conference games, starting with San Diego State University, followed up by in-state rivals Grand Canyon University and Arizona State University to round up the rest of the season. The SLC tournament will begin the following week after the regular season has wrapped up, with the MCLA tournament starting May 11th. Reporting from Campus Recreation, this is Ryan Lopez reporting for Wildcast.
As always, thanks for tuning into Wildcast. You can watch us anytime online at uatv.arizona.edu or on our YouTube channel UATV CH3.
And don't forget to like us on Facebook for breaking news on campus. We all wish you a great summer. Tune in next fall to continue getting your campus news right here on UATV.
Well, that's a wrap. There's no mo where that came from. Good night.